What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another training video. You know the drill at this point. We're working through our workouts through the week, condensing them into the most interesting stuff and the most important lifts, going forward on this program. So going forward, as I make these videos, I'm being able to pump them out relatively quickly, just getting the footage in there. But if there's anything that anyone wants to see, leave some comments below. I can break down how I do things. And again, I'm no bastion of all knowledge. I'm not the only person in the world who can tell you how to do certain things, but if you want or have any questions on any sort of lifts or the way I train, leave them in the comments and I can address them in videos. I've been thinking of just doing random breakdowns of certain lifts that I do, like pointing out where I struggle or any sort of mitigation I use to adjust that. So if you want to leave a comment, I'll read them, let me know, and then gives me more content ideas. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep pumping out the lifting footage. Some people like that, some people don't. So heavy single here, 562. So this would be a lift potentially that I may want to break down here, and I'm posting all the content here. So whether it's a hit or a miss, I'm going to show you, and just to kind of show you how training is all the time. So sometimes things don't always go to plan, as evident by this lift here. So I'm really good off the floor with deadlifts, but I tend to miss the lockout on the heavier lifts. So that was supposed to be the PR week, but I ended up getting sick and then just didn't feel well. So I pushed it back and I missed my peak there. So I took the L on that. We're going to move on to the program and move on to the block and just work back up to it again though. So the one good thing about that is that 562 did move a little bit better than it has in the past. So I'll take that. And I should have known that was my max for the day. I should have left it there. So did some SSB here as usual, heavy doubles on this, and then my usual rows. I try not to change much when I'm doing a PR week. I want to be able to maintain that same intensity, the same amount of volume, and not really deviate much from that. I'd rather be well-rounded at all times and then just have strength on the main compounds fluctuate. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. If I miss the peak week or whatever, I'll learn from it, move on, do the program again. You're still going to build muscle and get stronger. It's just sometimes timing when you're prepared for those heavy lifts is the hardest part. So you win some, you lose some. The last block I did this, I hit PRs and everything, and it was awesome. But that's not going to happen all the time. When you're training, a lot of different variables come in. We're in a transition here. I get bad allergies during the weather transitions between spring and summer and fall, etc. So it sounds like excuses, but stuff like that when you're training at a high intensity and high amount of volume can affect the outcome of that. So you just have to kind of learn to roll with the punches here. So definitely going to include some more angles and some more accessory work here. I normally don't like chest supported T-bar rows. They just feel weird on my body. I would prefer to row from the floor. It's just how I am. So when I do them, I try to do them to the best of my ability here, and it's just the pressure on the chest and stuff. I just don't like it, to be honest, but it's a good way to take out the momentum of leg drive and things like that, and to be a little bit more specific to the lats. So I'm showing you here, again, form could be obviously a little bit easier, but the way I was feeling, the fatigue, the missed lift, it all just cascades into a not so good time. So lat pull down here, and this whole week I could just tell something was off. Usually, however that first day training goes, I can tell how it's going to dictate the rest of the week. And with these high volume sets, I was doing sets of 18 here and then 12 and 10, as you're going to see in the program at the end of it. There's a point where you're like, okay, this is not going to probably happen this week, and I try to push through. And sometimes when you're out of gas, you dig yourself into a hole and keep digging deeper, and it takes longer to reverse that and get out. And that's kind of what happened this week. So again, I'm going to show you all the failures and all the successes and what real training looks like, because not everything is an Instagram highlight reel where everyone's hitting PRs. Unless you're on some additional sources and substances and stuff like that, this is the reality of what's happening here. So moving on to OHP here. Now I want to add in more exercises and kind of do more breakdowns, but a lot of these movements, you can kind of see what's happening here, and I'm really trying to just demonstrate over and over again the consistent form and kind of exactly what you're supposed to be focusing on and what you're doing. And I put the weights up there. I let you know, you can notice here, I tend to only use the belt on warm-up sets when I'm feeling a little bit iffy, and I try to go beltless as much as possible until that top set. Use your resources. You don't need to become dependent on them. Some people can't squat without their knee sleeves. I've never used knee sleeves. I'm not the best squatter in the world, but I like to be confident in what I have and your body will give you feedback as to how you're feeling, and you can kind of judge your performance and how you should train off of that. So this whole week, after I essentially failed that max effort set on the deadlift, I knew probably not going to hit PRs this week. So I basically just dropped down, and I actually did the week after where it's more of like a lead down to the deload. So I did 198. I was supposed to plan for 220 on OHP, and based off of how this moved, I don't think I would have got it, or if I did get it, I would have gotten injured, or it would have been just draining. So just moved on here. Close grip bench press. The 286 actually moved pretty well, which is, super awesome but sometimes it happens where you peak certain lifts and they just don't peak around the time that you expect them to. So this was fine. I did these without safety spots, and the close grip bench press, remember, close grip is specifically not as wide as your competition. Some people go really wide, so anything in between is considered close grip. It's all relative. So you don't need to put your hands on the where the knurling starts, because that will, that's a lot of stress on the wrist and stuff like that. It all depends on your wingspan and your arm length. So just kind of going on that. And, you're going to see these same movements again, but these are the lifts that make dividends. You know what I mean? You're investing, you're getting stronger overall, and you're doing the same thing over and over again because they work. And so I will deviate on weight if I'm not feeling well and just kind of go from there. So that's why you're seeing these main lifts. But I feature these because they're obviously the most important. The accessory stuff is not interesting. If you need to do arm work, do your triceps, do your biceps, stuff like that. So incline fly here, something I'm just including just to kind of add in more variety. And at the time, the angle was there, and, I had enough space to do it. So just something I include here. I like doing a lot of chest work. My chest responds really well to any form of volume. It just always is growing. So I'm going to keep doing that, and I've lowered the weight on the flies to focus more on contraction just to see if I can get a little bit more growth and stuff out of that. But ultimately, pick the exercises you like, work to progress them, get stronger at everything, and then you'll be guaranteed progress and gains in the future. So, thanks for watching. Here's another vid. Like I said, mention in the comments what you guys want to see, breakdowns, advice, stuff like that, and I'll see you in the next one. So get your pumps, get stronger. Bye-bye.